Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in to Through the Lens with Passion. I am your host, Passion. I am sitting here with a very special guest. His name is Kevin. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's going on, family? It's Kevin. Glad to be here with you guys today. Obviously, it's always great when I get to sit down with my brother, talk about some things that we've done, some things that we've learned. So, man, I'm excited for this opportunity today. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, so as y'all know, this show is about gaining information and knowledge or disseminating it to the young folks so they don't make the same mistakes that we have made. Me and Kevin have been on a lot of projects.
Yeah,
we've worked on a lot of different projects. Like I said, I'm about 10 years in this thing, in just videography, working on different projects with Kevin for what?
I mean, we've known each other for back in the old Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I was getting into.
So that was like seven something years ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been we've done some good stuff. It's definitely been a fun ride, man. It's been a fun ride for sure.
No, 100%. So Kevin he does a whole lot. For the business, just as a person, he does a whole lot. But when he works with us, he not only helps with sales, helps with a good person resource to learn things from, like run ideas from, how you gonna network, how you gonna negotiate. He'll tell you, hey, that ain't the move. Keep right. So he's just a good resource and a good brother to have on your side for sure. So we're going to deep dive into some of the elite state of mind information here. So here's the name of this next video that we're going to go through today, guys. It is, if you want to go ahead and...
So this is the Elite State of Mind podcast. It was a podcast done by myself, by my cousin Jesse, and then obviously Charlie as well. And in that, us coming together, it was just a really special time for us to be able to talk about different things and give out some knowledge that we felt would help people to raise the state of their mind, obviously given the name, and give them just a little different viewpoint on some things, because our goal, as we would say each year, if you hear the intro of the show, was always to listen, learn, and grow. And I feel like we did that, as we continued, to get better, to grow in the things that we were doing. So we had a lot of fun doing it. We definitely learned a lot through doing it and a lot from each other as well. Right. I think some of the best conversations were had, before the camera. But if people could have heard some of those conversations, those were really good. So
life changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be one of my pastimes. Is a Saturday shoot out there before work. We sit down, have a conversation about whatever trauma we've been going through.
That's true.
The big man or whatever triumph we were having. And by the time we got to the show, we was like, all right, let's get this knocked out. Right. We warmed up.
You had already got all the bugs and all the kinks worked out. So those conversations, they were needed, because that kind of camaraderie and that is the ability for brothers to sit down and talk. Bounce things off of each other and be sounding boards. That's one thing that the Elite State of Mind was for. So it was, like I said, it was great stuff.
No, 100%. All right, so we're gonna jump into these goals.
Okay.
As you guys know, find 4 good clips, 4 bad clips. So this is a little different. What we're gonna do is we're gonna actually let the audio play on this episode of Elite State of Mind, and we're gonna let Kevin listen in. And he's going to pick some points, and then we're going to kind of go over it just so you guys can kind of get a feel for the show. And we'll go from there. But we're still here to look at film. So we're going to tell you when this was filmed. So it started October 23rd, 2021, and it ran through November 2nd, 2022. So we had a good
52
run.
Weeks. We had 52 weeks. We got one solid year.
Yeah.
One solid year worth of putting out episodes, which is cool, man. Yeah. And we committed to doing that and got it done for that time, because a lot of people will fall off. Before that. And it wasn't easy.
No. It was it wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot. You know what I mean? And I feel like when we started, a little rough.
Yes.
But as we got in the groove, it was grand. It was
Right.
something. It was getting. I was going back and reading the comments, some new comments on some of them. I was like, wow, people were really invested. So, you know, well, we can always think through another lens on that. So, you know, back to the film. It was filmed with a Nikon D7500, right? Good camera, very good camera for photos, right? Not necessarily for videos.
That's my enemy right there.
Man.
But that's because I'm camera illiterate, y'all. Don't, you know, Nikon, don't give him a bad rap because of me. But I couldn't work that thing for nothing.
Well, yeah. Sometimes I could make it up like, Kevin, do this. When we get out there, Kevin,
no video.
he tell me about them battles. Like, Nikon, you gotta make this more simple, man.
I just need point and click. That's all I got. I don't need to have to adjust nothing. No, it was rough. Yeah, but it helped me learn though. It helped me learn.
Absolutely. And when he got the hang of it, it was looking good for sure.
Yeah.
We did. There was 3 of those Nikon cameras there, and so we got multiple angles. They were good. Yeah, sometimes it was only one working, so you may catch an episode where you got one angle. We gotta make more angles out of one. You know what I mean? Zoom.
And the SD card didn't like to work in one of them, and I mean this was after trying 2 or 3. You know, you would bring 2 or 3 different brands of SD card, and for whatever reason, it wasn't having it. So Nikon was we cut our teeth on those for the podcast world.
Oh yeah, sir.
That's why I'm loyal to Sony. I'm also a PlayStation guy. That's
Hey, I tell you,
Sony ain't let me down.
You gotta get you a Sony. That FX3. Yeah, because there was I know for sure there was a couple of times we had the close up of Jesse and Kevin, but no wire because that wire would quit on us. These are filmed with the kit 18 to 140 millimeters. So it's just a kit lens, so you can kind of get whatever whatever zoom you want on it, whatever focus. So I think that's pretty much good on that one. So
let me ask you this though. Yeah, in filming the podcast, what did you learn just about your camera that either reaffirmed your I know I made a good choice with Sony, or maybe I need to venture out?
Good question.
Because obviously your podcast may be a little bit different from film or music videos that you've been doing in commercials.
Yep.
So what were you able to learn there?
Okay, good question. So really it was, I wanted to stay with Sony one because I love the way the actual menu is set up.
Okay.
It's really simple to get everything you know. Now a lot of people say it's the most complex menu, but once you learn it, you got it.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a little different because my camera can do so much, and so I have so much freedom. Like if I make a mistake, to really just kind of fix it, right?
Okay.
After at post. With the Nikon, as you've seen with the green screen and all of that, if you make a mistake, the lighting or something, it's going to show. Yeah. Especially back when we film these, there's not like AI or anything you can do to fix it. You're gonna rotoscope. I got to do arm, head, leg. Yeah. If I mess up, you got to do just the little headphones by themselves. All of these pieces to bring it back to make it look. And so. I will say the cameras that we were using were unforgiving in the environment that they were in.
That's a very good choice of word, unforgiving, because they were. Yeah. I agree.
But so that made me like, okay, I'm gonna go back with at least a higher end. If I would get a Nikon, it would be a higher end one. Same thing with the higher end Sony.
Okay.
Yeah, because I guess if you get a cheap one, you get
right. That's true.
Hey, but we not gonna complain because we just getting that thing for free. So you
got a library in your area that has a green screen. Go ahead and get off in there.
Oh yeah. The Makers Lab at the podcast. That's where this was filmed. All episodes. They thank you. It was
shout out to the Pioneer Library in Norman. It's now shut down due to some reasons, but they were always
we was cooking in there.
Man, they were always so super nice to us. There was only a couple times where there might have been a scheduling conflict, but every time they were super nice to us, giving us help and everything that we needed. But it is a very untapped resource. And go to your public library. Obviously, get you some books, but in many of them, and this is obviously the Pioneer Library system, there are untapped resources in there because there was obviously the green screen room that we were taking advantage of. There was a studio right behind
actual
it,
studio
that had many things that if you need. I'm pretty sure
mixing, mastering,
to cut a full album,
everything
in there. So go to your local library and tap into those resources.
Oh, remember they had the 3D
printers,
all of that stuff.
Obviously,
sewing machines,
internet access, stuff like that. So don't sleep on going to your library if you're thinking about doing a podcast, making an album, or audio book.
You're right.
So hit up your libraries. Do those type of things. Free.
100%. Hey, that's the word. That's what you always people say. I can't make it. Everybody can get to the library. You gotta walk.
It costs gas. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Kevin cooking. All right. We're gonna jump down to the concept from here. We'll spend a little time on this one, then we'll kind of go from there.
Oh, sounds good.
So tell us. I know you kind of touched on it, but as far as the main idea of the show, like the conception, what how did you think of that? What kind of was it you, Jesse? Was it a group effort? What happened?
So me and Jesse, we'd been back when we had our personal.
Jesse, what up? My man.
Back when we had our personal training studio, we would do like videos or things on like Facebook Live, stuff like that. Obviously, it was a means then to try to bring clients to the studio to market ourselves and things of that nature. And at the time, it was me behind the camera or phone. We had no camera. It was on the iPhone. It was rough.
Hey, it
worked. But it was me, filming, asking the question. Obviously, Jesse giving the knowledge and expertise in the health and wellness field. And we'd kind of been throwing around an idea of doing something like this. And then I just kind of thought of doing something. And one of the things I did was I had come up with a list of topics and just put it out there, and then worked on the name of what would be, what would we call it? What would, to us, stand out? What might grab people? So then landing on the elite state of mind, and then obviously calling you, letting you know, hey, this is something we, want to do. We're thinking about, would you be willing to come help us out?
Absolutely.
Man, always, thankful, and you are such a blessing, to myself, and to my family, that you lend, your talents and your services to us. Of course. Because Elite State of Mind wouldn't have been what it was had you not been there. And then,
team effort.
We did those things, and then it was really just what do we talk about that is in the vein of being positive, of being uplifting, but still trying to give some reality, because everything can't be sunshine and rainbows, but there is enough, as we oftentimes talk about, salacious content and things out there. But one thing that was always nice that Jesse did a really great job of was being able to talk about some of those topics, but still give the knowledge in a positive way.
Right.
Because sometimes people are only able to speak about some of those things in a negative light.
Good point.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's just what comes along with some things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
100%.
But for us, and what our goal was to get people to think, to get people to listen. He always did a really good job when he would expound upon the topics of being able to do that, and then lead people back to elevating their mindset. Right. So that's where the idea of it came from. And then kind of came together.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Speaking of Jesse, one thing when I go back to listen, and even in the moment, man, that guy's a comedian. He's hilarious.
No, that's true.
He got a way in his parables, like the way he breaks it down. He tells you a story, but he makes it relatable to the topic.
Yes,
unmatched. Man,
wealth of knowledge.
Yeah,
wealth of knowledge.
Some of those quotables I still use with my nephew at home. I'm like, hey,
right.
Like, Jesus, no, that's Jesse.
I feel you.
Putting in bars, but no, for sure. And yourself, right? Just kind of running the show down, but also able to be a host. Make sure we're moving on time as you do. Always breaking it down, making sure it's even, coming with great topics, and just collabing and make sure that you're prepped and very well prepared before we even get there. and then just making sure we all have fun.
Yeah.
Like you were saying when we get there, this book. Hey, did you read your book? You working out? How we doing? You making sure you taking care of everyone mentally, so this ship the train can keep going on the tracks. And man, 100%. This time of my life was very valuable.
I appreciate that. No,
just with you brothers for sure. And obviously, we still grand, but just it was something that I needed at that time, and I think it was just provided right
for sure.
Right, 100%. That leads us to this third one, or the fourth photo. You remember those first few episodes?
Yeah, it was tough.
Well,
there were some good ones. I want to say, man, there was. So I cannot remember what the first one was called. I cannot remember.
Oh, you know what? Hold on, wait a minute. We can.
But
we can pull it up.
there was definitely some. Let's see. I don't want to jump down. And the reason why I bring this up because I know eventually. That's the Poverty
intro.
Christianity. That was one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah, emotion.
Yeah,
East creates motion. Yeah.
The open hand principle was a good one. I used a quote from my sister. You know that a closed fist ain't good for nothing but a punch in the face.
No, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go ahead. Well, we gonna break
the right keys. That was a good one.
I want them to see what we doing. Let's do this. We gonna jump over here. Lessons learned really quick. All right, so guys, y'all know. On Lessons Learned, these are the lessons that we learn from whatever project, podcast, or whatever we've done. So in this instance, what we learned from starting a podcast, and since we know so many people call us about starting podcasts or ask about podcasts, number one thing we can say is start with at least 10 episodes before you put it out.
Yes.
Like, do you have any input on that, or you want me to take it away?
I'm always thankful that you said, "Hey guys, let's do some episodes and get them in the can before it comes out." Because one of the reasons why you want to do this is life is going to happen, things are going to come up. Because obviously, if you're starting a podcast, you're not big. Most people who are starting them aren't celebrities, athletes, large political pundits, or anything of that nature, where you already have. This following to where podcasting is something that you can depend on,
right.
For a living. You're still having to go to work. You're still having to, maintain the family. You're still having all these other things that life can throw at you.
Can't everybody be Joe Rogan? That's the thing. You gotta start somewhere.
Right.
Start somewhere.
Even Joe, he did. He had the Man Cave show.
Yeah.
He was announcing for
Fear
UFC, Fear Factor.
Joe a hustler,
he was a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
So he had people that kind of knew him from certain spaces. So when he launched a podcast, it was a little bit more built in. Of people that were kind of quickly going to gravitate, towards him. But if you're like us, and you're just some guys off the street that want to give out some knowledge, starting with that 10 episodes is really one, you get in a groove. Because I remember we shot the very first episode, and the emotion creates motion,
right? But
we shot it twice because the first time we shot it was garbage.
Yeah,
it was garbage. It was hot garbage.
Well, even the videography is garbage. We got a little light lead on the green, so
everybody had to learn.
Yes,
in that first one. So those first 10 were really a learning curve for us. Of in our podcast, do we need to have questions written down, or can we just go off? Obviously, there got to a point where we didn't need questions per se. Right. We just needed the topic, and to make sure everybody knew where the topic was trying to land, right. And we could go. But at the beginning, it was here are the questions. Here's and then obviously another thing in there that I learned doing the first 10 episodes was don't be afraid when either myself or Jesse says something to stay on a topic.
Right, that was a big one. Yeah,
because I would be wanting to get down all these 10
get
questions.
To the list.
What I'm saying. But you'll miss some good stuff in there. So I just starting with the 10 episodes I think is a really good lesson for everybody, because you're gonna learn so much about your podcast, your podcasting style, the equipment that you have, the location you're shooting at. The moods people are in. What did you learn from a videographer standpoint in the first 10 episodes?
Yeah, I mean, any mistakes you need to make, like maybe leaving the mic off. Or having the mic on, not the camera.
I was bad about that because we had the little. This is back before
I did it too.
We had the clip-ons. Now we a little bit more sophisticated. But back when we had the wires and everything was on. Remember, we also had the wires sitting on the table. Yeah, the longest. And all we had to do was take them and put them on the little box in between us, which cleaned up the table, made it look nice.
Yeah, made it look nice. But chemistry.
I was really bad about not pressing that button, but chemistry grew.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's just so much. The homing in the lighting, because it was not a place that I controlled, so we wanted to make sure it looked like a certain way, and it was over those 10 episodes we were able to actually fine tune everything,
set up, break down, all of that. We had to learn where the lights were being kept and all this.
Getting to the floor, getting up in the morning.
how do we turn this on?
Yes,
right. That was something we all had to learn and begin. Okay, whose job is to do this?
Yep.
Do we all learn how to do different things?
Yes.
So therefore, if there were times when one of us may be running behind, everything
we get there, we on point.
Ready to go.
Right behind me.
You know what I'm saying? So just doing those things in that 10 episodes was really a great lesson for us, to, like you said, to help streamline the process.
Yes.
And that's where I think a lot of people fall prey, because it's really easy to start a podcast. You get some mics.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Good quality, bad quality, don't matter.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to have a camera.
You don't need it at all.
You can do it on your phone. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Record that thing and put it out.
Or you just have audio joint. But it's better with the video, but anywho,
and learning how to distribute the podcast,
right?
Where you want to put it out, how you got to.
With the Podbean, we had to literally learn everything from scratch.
Where they send it, how they send it. Is it even worth it to do a Podbean again? You know what I'm saying?
With the RSS that we needed to go ahead and break down, get the shirts, the clothing line, break down all of the because we would upload them to all the different clips, so we could go through and pull clips.
Timestamps.
Do the timestamps so folks know where they were going.
You obviously recording intros, doing
commercials
and all that, all that type of stuff. We learned that in doing that 10, but to do your 10 episodes before you ever release one, because you can always, if there's a real world topic that needs to be tackled in real time, you can always do that and insert it and put it in there.
Yes.
But those 10 are going to help you, and then as you'll do that, you'll stay ahead of the curve.
That point. Because there's going to be times where
everybody can't make it. And you can't shoot.
And you can't go to more. You can't make it to the more site. So and so you got one in the can, or you can do a best of episodes. There's a lot of different things, but so that was lessons learned for us.
I feel you. Good lessons too. Good lessons.
Perfect. So we're gonna jump back here. And we're gonna let Kevin put on the headphones. Now we're gonna try to just do one or two segments, and then we'll go ahead and get you out of here, because I already kept you a little bit long.
Oh, you good, my brother? You good?
Good deal. Let them get some. Is there anywhere you want to start specifically on this one, or do you want to just kind of let it play and then we'll click around?
Let it play real quick. Sometimes the intro was pretty decent.
All right, cool.
In that, obviously we kind of hit on that earlier, but it's one of those things where, as Jesse was talking about, there are so many things that happen to us in life before we become young adults and then adults, and the danger of not dealing with these things, of not identifying who threw us in the jail cell, not identifying some of these traumas that we have, is now I begin to live off my trauma triggers, and then I will pass these things to my children when it had nothing to do with them, right? Or I can pass them to children, nieces, nephews, friends, spouse, and they take this on because either I don't want to recognize it, I don't want to deal with it, or some people, in some cases, it's become their identity.
Yes.
Their pain has become who
tough.
they are.
Yep.
And that's how they exist. And so now they don't know how to exist in a world that isn't painful, because to them that's so normal. To have this sort of chaos and to have this, nothing good ever happens, nothing great is ever going to happen to me, I'm never going to encounter a blessing. And that's just how they are, how they reside. but that's not what God has for us. So it's not that every day is going to be easy, but if you are willing to deal with these tough things more so head on, and whether it is you got to work on yourself, whether it is you have a relationship with somebody that you need to work on or cut off, because they're just not going to get to a place where you guys can coexist.
Right.
That can be the thing that helps you move further in life.
Oh, now you cooking. I think it's just the jailer line, being your own jailer in your own pain. Somebody hurt you, and now you're cut, and like you're saying, living with that pain, you continue to keep cutting yourself because you're afraid to heal. Right? That sounds insane, because it is, and that's really what it is.
Truly, so. And the thing, and then we'll move on right after this is in that, when you're in this prison and you're abiding in this jail, the really big problem is gonna be, how do you, like you said, if I don't want to move on now in my existence, excuse me. How am I affecting other people? Mm-hmm. Right? What is going to be the problem that I give out to everybody else? Because the biggest issue is going to be, now, if I don't work on these things, this is going to bleed over into every aspect of my life, and all the things that I do and all the things that I am. People are going to begin to know me, from this pain.
Yeah. That's tough. That's a tough predicament to be in. And that's man. I can't say much more than that, but really, just I relate to that so much. Hence, why this show means a lot to me. A lot of other things in my life have helped me overcome, but just depression and just going through a lot of negative things in life. And this episode definitely helped me. This is one of my favorite. I actually picked this one. I know we had a few of them that we went over, but Prisoner of Pain, when I heard it live, and I go back and listen to this multiple times, just because you're not a prisoner don't mean you can't go to prison.
That's true.
It happened. I know that's a weird, but you know, even though I can overcome something, you can fall back into depression, you can fall back in old ways, and you can start hurting the people you love. Right. And so, to protect my wife and people around, my friends, my brothers, my mom, my sister, just being a good example of a man, really a good example of a person at the end of the day, and then going to men, and that starts with one, knowing God, following that principle, also trying to be right. You're trying to be these things, putting in that time. So, but I love this episode.
If you want to play, so if you want to, let's see, what are the?
We'll pick maybe one, maybe two more.
Come on down. Let's see. In that segment, we started off by talking about, for those of us who believe in God, who profess a hope and belief in Christ, the way He speaks to us as His children is always wrapped in love. Right. It's not, Him putting us down. And it's not that He doesn't reprimand us. It's not that He doesn't correct us, because a father has to correct his children unless he doesn't love them. But He loved us back to righteousness. So, as a parent, who am I to then turn and say to my children or speak to my children outside of love? When my father didn't and does not do that with me, am I better than him? Yeah. See, now there's you can joke and things of that nature, but we also know that joking is a very fine line, and a lot of people hide insults in their humor.
Yes, they do. Tell a lot from a joke.
Backhanded compliments. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you look nice for a bald guy.
Hold on, now. That's fine.
Why gotta be bald? Why you have to throw that?
Right, it's already touching the soul now.
You know what I'm saying? So, in these things, as we talk, as we continue to dive into the pain that we carry, as parents, you have such a lofty responsibility, just in the words that you're going to speak day in and day out, because when you have kids, you're normally waking them up especially when they get school age. Like when they're little, they're waking up on their own because they
Really?
hey,
They
it's time
already
to go. Yeah.
They excited.
Let's go do this. But for school, when you're waking them up, do you yell at them when they wake up? Swing the door open, yell at them, some expletives, get your blank out the bed, you know what I'm saying, before they go to sleep. Or you're yelling at them. Is it traumatic when they go to sleep? Because now they gotta sleep like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's
like, we've all been there, but we've done something more. Maybe we wanted to stay up a little bit later. And our parents did have to reprimand us. Were we deserving of the correction? Sure. But you think about it, is then when you try to go to sleep, do you sleep well after somebody has yelled at you?
Really good point.
After somebody has disturbed your spirit?
You cooking.
As a young adolescent, even in your teenage years, do you, or even now as an adult, do you do well if your morning starts off bad?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Or if I go to sleep with that, maybe an argument or disagreement with the wife, then that can ruin the next day for me. Hence why I try not to go to sleep in any kind of argument.
You're trying to have that thing resolved. Like, man, let's
don't put that on my spirit. Let me get a good sleep.
Can we at least be like, hey, I might be upset, but I still love you, big dog.
Right.
And hey,
100%.
we might need tomorrow. We might need to come back and tackle this thing. Yep. But just know, as you lay down tonight, you need something. I got you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we just have to be really cognizant of that, because again, especially for those of us who believe, why can I talk to you any type of way, but God don't talk to me like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
what kind of ego do I have, right? Yeah. That's down in respect. On that same note, obviously I don't have kids, but I got nieces and nephews. And when they come over on the weekend, I'm watching them, spending time with them. One of the things that this episode kind of brought back to me listening is because they're in and out of the house, leaving the door open, running back and forth, and I'm like, don't do it. And I noticed I kind of explode. I said, y'all quit running in and out this house, and explode. Where they running, leaving the door open, letting flies in. And
right.
Yes.
Using up your good electricity. We got told.
Well, man, you know what? I think I just get that from the old folks. I don't even care. Let my AC up. Right. I'm just being meanie. But I went for a run, listened to this episode. This did pop on. Went back and had to handle it with love. Right? Yeah. Set them down and explain why I didn't want to run in and out when they're going in the front. No one's out there. They have little Millie that's a baby. I don't know who's going out this house. Yeah. Right? Who's disappearing. If she goes out because the door is open, I don't know that. We don't know that. Grown-ups got to be with you. Right? Because they're younger. So just kind of thinking what they explain. You don't want anything to happen, to Millie or to your little Gucci, the little dog, or nothing like that. So once they got that, I'm like, okay, what about that back door? Yeah, y'all pushing it now.
But that's different. Yeah, there's somebody in the backyard. They had to. I know they ain't got good intentions. Yeah,
right. But yeah, no. So they definitely understood, and it was just the difference of handling it with love.
Yep.
And then with emotion, raw emotion, and just, hey, y'all need to quit doing that, right? Yeah. So it's definitely a difference just in my life.
That's the biggest thing, is that so many of these things, as we speak to people, when I speak from a place of pain, I miss an opportunity to teach, right? And not an opportunity to necessarily lord over somebody or demonstrate, my knowledge, but to first teach myself, like you said, how to regulate my own emotions.
Right.
If I feel this swelling up in me, because I've told you countless times, and especially even them being your nieces and nephews, they're still your responsibility when they're here.
100%.
So like you said, as you guys are going outside, if something happens, that's on me, right? Yeah. And I'm trying to protect you. So especially in an instance like that, you're quick to get emotional because it's like, this is for your safety, right? But now it's like, okay, how can I bring this to a level where we can have an open communication? Correct. You can teach and they can learn, so they don't get just the same yell, cuss, quit using my electricity, letting my AC out.
Yeah.
And now you just live in fear.
Because I had no idea what my mom and my dad would be like that. I just know whenever my dad would come home, heart beating fast, is the trash empty? I ain't trying to get whooping. I ain't trying to beat the dude.
Did I get all my stuff done?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. But it taught me. anxious. Not, hey, I'm doing something to be proud of my work. I just need to make sure it's right. Hence the fear of failure, which can permeate now as an adult that I have to combat with a different.
Because instead of you taking ownership, you just had ownership of the fear.
Yes.
That came along with not doing the task.
Correct. And that I don't want to, we spend so much time reading them and breaking it down, and we're doing our workouts and our different reading of the day. Right. I got the new Who Moved My Cheese Kid book for him to break it down.
Dope.
But so I'm teaching them one thing, and one thing we're learning and reading, or I'm reading and saying one thing, but teaching you another. Right. And so I had to, back to the running and breaking it down. I'm like, I'm emotional like my dad. Are they feeling like how I was as a kid? Running, coming back, and it's all full circle. So and that's just one bar. One bar out of one episode. So I digress. We'll get that.
You want to do one more? And then
we'll grab one more, and then I got a little gift for you here.
What's down here at the end? Let's see. And demanded of myself to become the best version of Kevin. Have I dealt with the ugly things? Have I dealt with the things that aren't polished? Have I dealt with the things that I hold on to that I like, but that are detrimental? If I have a spirit of laziness, if I have procrastination, you know what I'm saying? If I any of these things that might be on me, have I allowed somebody to tell me, hey, stop that? Hey, this is what's holding you back. You need to change this. Am I wise enough to then listen and apply, that knowledge?
That's a good point.
And then that's the tough part. And so then the follow up that I said in there was that either you will begin to sacrifice to become what you want and what your family needs you to be, or your life will become the sacrifice. Either way, something is getting sacrificed. You just gotta. The great thing is you have the opportunity to choose. Right. You have the ability to say what is the sacrifice and what isn't. I can either sacrifice my time, my efforts, and my energy to at least attempt to become something, or I can say I'm good where I'm at. I'm gonna stay here, and then I will become a burden to those around me.
Yeah, that's 100%.
I did not become what I was supposed to.
I don't know if this is going to take it off topic. Hopefully not.
You good.
But I was just having a conversation with someone about, I know I gave 4 different real life examples of older folks that I know, and all of them have ended up in the same predicament, right? Which is nothing necessarily wrong with it, but it's a financial predicament where they're retirement age but unable to retire. Right. And one is still able to work, or they're not able to work and they have to be taken care of, right? And without any other options. Right. And it's okay if that's what you want to do, if you still leave, you staying with your family, and hey, nothing wrong with that, and that's what family is for, is to help you out.
For sure.
But if you have the options and plans, because you had a person that owned their own business for about 9 to 10 years, making a large, substantial amount of money, and they ended up in the same position as someone that was, let's put this was off the government, right? And that had an actual physical disability, and then someone that worked all their life for the state. They all are in the same predicament, and I was like, why is that happening? Did they not prepare before? And so I deep dive with different members of the family, and I'm just trying to figure it out. It's something that I want to talk to you about later. It's a little mini dog I'm working on.
It's one of those things
about
where,
preparation.
Pain is the pain that we can become prison to can be generational. Right? And sometimes if you grow up in it and you don't recognize that it is a prison cell, you'll never try to escape. You'll just stay there.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it was this episode, but I remember there was an episode that we were doing, and there was a story that I saw on Facebook, and it was this young girl, young girl and her mom. They were in the kitchen, they were cooking, and the mom was cooking a roast, and she chopped off the end. And the girl was like, "Mom, why you chop off the end of the roast?" "I don't know. Your grandma did it. Go ask her."
Okay.
Hey, Grandma, Mom's cooking roast the other day. She cut off the ends. Why she do it? I don't know. Go ask your great grandma, cause she did it. Great grandma, Mom cut off the ends of the roast. Grandma cut off the ends of the roast. Why was you doing it? She said, child, I cut the ends off the roast because I didn't have an oven to put a big roast in.
So you wasted. So we wasted for no reason.
and that's just because we don't ask the question.
Yeah.
Of why do you do this? Because some people have to do it out of this. They're constricted, should I say, by what they have, but we're not. You know what I'm saying?
Good point.
So for those people, they were falling into those things maybe because they were living in a constriction that they didn't have to live by.
Right.
And it kept them.
Yeah, I could track it back to bad financial decisions. You can see it whether if it's buying a home at the wrong time and investing in something, putting too much money into something, gambling. Yeah. Or just not able to save enough because you're living off the go. So all of these things were kind of, bad finance, but that's just like financial health mixed with other things to subsidize. Why are we doing these things? Why are we making these mistakes? Or why are we buying something that we can't do? Or why are we gambling if we can't afford? Yep. Why didn't we push further in certain things? But, not to villainize or, target any of these people. It was just, overall view.
The thing of it is you didn't up in the same place.
Correct.
If I don't see and learn, right? Whoever this person is you were speaking to, hopefully they took it as, this free game right here.
Yeah, because I see them going down the same path.
And that's it. And so
trying to put some game on.
Do you end up staying in that prison cell?
Right.
Because the keys were freely given to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They were handed to you right then. And all you had to do was say, thank you. Unlock the door and walk out.
Right. Good point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the crazy part is they were like, well, that's what we was going to be.
Okay.
I was like,
hey, you gotta run.
As long as you know, as long as we can make a decision, that's all we ask, right? That's what the show is about. If you got an elite state of mind, don't mean you got to change it. But if you know about it,
that's true.
It's good if you want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
With that, I'll go ahead and you good? Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and go ahead and go to the second to the last one. What we like to do, this is a second episode with a new segment, Through Another Lens, right? Basically, it's a remix from perspective of if we redid this show, or if we shot it different, or we had a different concept for whatever we were doing. In particular, this podcast, what would a reimagining or through another lens of Elite State of Mind look like? And so I'll go ahead and start this one.
Go right ahead.
5-Minute Mentor is something that me and Kevin, we were sitting down thinking, hey, the location that we wanted to film at is no longer available.
R.I.P.
Right? So, man, we miss you, Nikon. Shout out to Nikon. But
to the Makers Lab.
Right, Makers Lab for sure. So we were thinking, what if we were able to kind of target different mentors or different people in the field and see, do they have any knowledge that we could gain and do interviews with them? And that came up as 5-Minute Mentor. I'll leave some for you to kind of talk there, but that's the reimagining of basically going on site, and you can elaborate from that.
So because the thing with Elite State of Mind is it was beautiful for what it was and always will be, and you can't recreate that again. Right? So what's the next step? Where do you go from here? What's the evolution of these things? What is again something else that might be missing out there in this space? And so often there are many great people doing some great things that maybe they haven't thought about mentoring. Maybe they don't realize that they are a mentor, can be a mentor to others, such like yourself. you're mentoring people by doing through the lens with passion. These young filmmakers and things of that nature. So that was the vein of where, as we talked about, 5 Minute Mentor being birthed from, is let's go out to some of these people that we know, that we've come in contact with, that have helped us and mentored us, and sit down where they're comfortable, sit down in some of the house that they've built, so to speak, and allow them to give us kind of what their recipe was for success, what their game plan has been. So that's something that we're really excited to bring to you guys, hopefully here in the near future. Now that obviously, like we said, we've got some other projects that are wrapped up. So you know what I'm saying. So we'll we can get to that. But very, very excited to do that, because I believe mentorship is something that can help so many of us, not necessarily skip steps, but accelerate through some steps in the things that we're trying to. Yes, very true.
100%. All right, so you guys look forward to that, and you see we got the logo. So, anywho, all right. So before we jump out of here, there is something. We have a family sponsor, Foot Aid. Foot Aid is showing love today. So we're going to present this over to Kevin.
Appreciate Foot Aid. Candace, shout out. Yeah. Always glad to get the Foot Aid.
Hey, so as a sponsor and as a good friend, Kevin, the brother going to test it out and get us right. And let us know what he think.
Yes, I will, for sure.
For sure. All right. Well, as we always say, if you learn something, please like something, right? And if you give me a like, you'll never be broke.
There you go.
So the goal is 1,000 subscribers on YouTube by my birthday, which is in November. We're we're about 500 and something, maybe 550. So we may not make it, but hey, it's a goal to keep reaching for. So please go and see all of the Elite State of Mind, which will be attached in the bio of this video. Go check them out. Very informative, as you can see. It's one of the longer episodes, so you can gain a lot of information. Kevin and Jesse were amazing on this show, and if you want to reach out to each one of them, they both still disseminate knowledge, and they do talking events and whatever else you would need as far as production and things like that. So Kevin, do you want to give your social media or anything?
Let's see, you can reach me what are my handles now, because I think I've changed them. On TikTok it is at the Fit Realtor, because obviously I'm in real estate, as the Fit Realtor. On Facebook, you can find my obviously real estate page at the Fit Realtor, AIM Real Estate LLC. So reach out to me there. Would love to chat with you guys. If you have anything you want to talk about, Elite State of Mind or anything of that nature, would love to chop it up with you guys. But other than that, man, it's been a pleasure. I always appreciate sitting down with you, my brother. Always a pleasure.
Hey, you guys, y'all have a good day, and thank you for tuning in to Through the Lens with Passion.
This what happens.